A glimpse into the lives of artists, authors, and influencers, discussing sincere moments, shareable stories, and unfiltered memories. Let's take a snapshot with Michael Spurlock. Considering all things, you lived it, and we saw your life, a portion of your life on the silver screen. Your role was actually played by John Corbett, who is amazing. Did you think he actually portrayed an accurate depiction of your despair when you actually came to the realization, whoa, we're not selling, we're actually going to try and save it? Like, was throughout the whole movie, even after when the flood came and you lost all your crop, was that an accurate depiction of what actually happened and what you were facing?
There was, the film gets at it within the constraints of the time constraints that a movie has. I had 3 years to sort of live this out and turn these corners and come to these realizations. John had an hour and 45 minutes
right.
to do all of that in one time. So it compresses things, but he does take the journey in that he's there to execute the plan. The situation on the ground begins shifting. He begins responding to the shift, and then he finds that he's not on task anymore. And that's man's task that we were trying to enact. And then he was growing into the fact that God had another purpose for the church. So John takes that journey that I took. I just had more time to do it in life.
So overall, when you look back and you've seen the film for sure, do you like the film? Do you like the movie All Saints?
I do like the film, and I honestly like it. There, of course, are things that frustrate me about the medium, and that is that we had 3 years. The film compresses the time frame into one. There were many people involved. The storyline compresses it into a couple of key characters. So I don't think everybody gets their proper due in that. You can't do justice to 3 years of God's work in an hour and 45 minutes. But this film does a great job at it, and it tells the story well, and it gets at the truth and the heart of the matter. And that was that really in the film, I think God is the interesting thing in the film. I will tell you something funny, though, about John's portrayal of me. I think you began asking, did I like his portrayal?
Yes.
And at first I didn't. It was unsettling to hear my name on the screen. I mean, the first time I was in the theater and I was, watching John's performance, and I was thinking, I don't talk like that. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. I wouldn't have reacted that way. And then when the screening was over, a friend of mine who knows me really well came over to me and says, "Man, did he nail you?"
Oh, no. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So it was like almost possibly like a reality check in a sense.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sort of having to reevaluate my whole life now.
Another thing that we want to tap into a little bit more on a personal note, and the movie didn't really show much of this, but it did mention that you were a salesman prior to you becoming a pastor. What happened there? Why did you decide to answer the call of God upon your life? What transpired? How did that unfold?
Well, again, that unfolded over many, many years, and happened in spite of many barriers that I kept erecting to answering that call. And when I was in college, I first thought that I might be called to the ordained ministry, but I was a Roman Catholic at the time, and I didn't know I knew very quickly when I explored it that I wanted a family. I wanted to be married and have children. And so can't do both there. And then I met my wife, who's an Anglican, and we began attending her church when we got married. And then I discovered I could be a clergyman and be married and have children. And so that opened up a whole another avenue. But also by that time, I was very well established in my career, and we were newly married, and then we our son was born, and then we bought a house, and we had 2 cars, and I kept saying, well, I can't go back to school. I can't go to seminary. I can't be a priest because I'd have to sell the car and sell the house and end my career. And we just had the baby and all these sorts of things. I can't move my family across the country. And over time, God convinced me, Michael, you can sell the house and you can walk away from your career, and your family will support you, and I'll sustain all of you. And all the barriers began to fall down, and then I had no excuse to say no anymore. So I said yes, and here I am.